Fragrance enthusiasts, lend me your rears. What happens when you have a ton of fragrances in your collection? There's no possible way that you can absolutely spray everything and everything's gonna get mad burned. It just doesn't work that way. So in this case, I've gone through my collection and really picked out 5 fragrances that I've completely ignored in my collection. Let's roll my motherfucking music so I can put you onto these fragrances now.
Sexy motherfucker. We're all alone in the villa, the really yeah, there's some friends from the south side. In case you cared, out of all your friends, I want to be Cuba.
Listen, morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. Now, it's gonna happen. And anybody who has anything over fucking 20 fragrances is gonna have some fragrances that they're gonna completely negate. Particularly in the fact that if you're one that has multiple of a certain house, that's gonna happen because you're gonna have your favorites whether you think about it or not. So the first fragrance that I managed to completely ignore is by the House of Parfums de Marly, and that one is Greenly. Now, it's not necessarily a bad fragrance. I really love what it does on my skin, but the fact of the matter is Parfums de Marly has a bunch of bangers that just do a lot more for me than Greenly has. I found it to be really enjoyable, super easy to wear, but nothing super revolutionary. And it really falls into the back burner when you got hits like Carlisle and Leighton, which I feel that are just so wearable at any fucking point. Forget season. I feel like you could just pull them shits off anywhere. You got Habdan, Ojawan, you got bangers. Like this one for me, it just sits there. It just sits there and look pretty. Like when I picked it up and I smelled it, I was like, damn, it's really pleasant. But it hasn't gotten any burn since the other hitters are just better. Next one. I bought this fragrance solely off the fact that this house has some hits as far as performance. And I was looking for something hot weather, very well performing, that can really stand up to the summertime heat. This one did do that, but it just lost my interest so quickly. And this fragrance is by the House of Sillage, and that's number 3. I think it's one of the cooler fucking bottles, at least the spraying mechanism. That shit is fly. And honestly, I probably bought it because of that. But I really wanted some powerhouse fragrance that's gonna just kick ass in the hot weather. This does do that, but it lost me at hello. It's lackluster off of my skin. I feel that I've been smelling so many other fragrances that this one, regardless of how good it performs, it just wasn't catching my interest. You can be a bad bitch in a corner, but if you can't have a conversation, your modified tits from Colombia is only gonna do so much. I'm gonna have about 25 minutes of tolerance, and then I'm just gonna move on to somebody who has a little bit more of a brain, some reduced breasts, and a nice curvature in the ass with those back dimples. This is just, I'm ignoring it completely. It's been there. It had so much dust on it that I literally had to just wipe it real quick. Next one. I hated this fragrance from the beginning. I developed a nose to enjoy and really appreciate the fragrance, especially what it was doing on my skin. And we're back to square one on ignoring it by the House of Creed, and that's Viking. Another one. I've had like this love-hate relationship with Viking, which is as dysfunctional as my marriage. Sometimes I can't fucking stand you, and then I'm gonna cry on the floor curled up like a baby boy because I miss you for the last 30 minutes. That's just how it is. I'm super emo, bipolar, bisect, whatever. This is what I feel about this fragrance. I don't think it's a bad fragrance. Again, I've learned to appreciate and really enjoy the spiciness, the masculinity of this fragrance, but it falls in the back burner. And honestly, the entire House of Creed seems to have fallen into the back burner for me. There's just a lot more interesting shit out there, or a lot just more fun wearable shit. And this one is like just, if the House of Creed is kind of in the back burner with the hits that they have, because they have hits, this one is just falling to the wayside like the red-headed stepchild, no pun intended, because it's red. Next one. Love the House of Yves Saint Laurent. I'm an Yves Saint Laurent groupie, especially that private blend, the Les Vetiver line. I can never pronounce it, I'm gonna chop it up, but this one gets no love in my collection, and this one is Blouse. We're talking about a rosy floral fragrance that has some oudi qualities and isn't bad. It's more so that there are some hits in YSL. Clearly we know which one I'm talking about, but not just Tuxedo. We're talking about Caban, we're talking about Kaftan. There's some other bangers in that lineup that this falls by the wayside. Now this leans a little bit more feminine, but even on my wife, she's kind of like, it's cute, that's it. She just left it at that. And this is just that. It's cute, it's floral, it's fresh, it's a little bit senior citizen-ish, which kind of doesn't help with the fact that it's falling by the wayside. So last and certainly not least, this fragrance I do like. I think it's great, but it just doesn't spark my interest anymore, and that's the House of Atelier Colognes, and that's Vetiver Fatale. This house does some bangers, bro. They're killers with citrus too. And this is a very nice musky vetiver fragrance that has some mass appeal nuances to it and does perform quite well on my skin, but doesn't blow me away in the fact that I feel like, ooh, I gotta see that. If I scope it and I just give the, it doesn't even register on the radar, which is sad because it's nice, but it's not as nice to catch my attention that day. This is more of a, pity, I'll wear that today because just for. And maybe I'm feeling that type of energy right now. Maybe I'll just do that. No, because there's other shit that I want to wear that it's gonna be a pity spray. I don't want a pity fuck. I want you to be into me. I want you to love me and then cuddle me after. This is not doing that. Sorry. And we're all gonna have 5 fragrances in their collection that you completely ignore. Please feel free to share in the comments of 5 fragrances that you absolutely love or that you've fallen out of love with, and put them in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that shit because I need to be a superstar. I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know what is biggest in the game. Smooches.
Cubaknow, what's fresh, who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test. Cubaknow.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, motor roller, start tack when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.